Welcome everyone to GTW Brawl. And it looks like we're starting off with Brenda Bison making her way to the ring with a microphone. Starting tonight off with a big promo. I have long come to the United States for not opportunity, but to show superiority. At Silver Bash, I have done just that when I made the great Amanda Price tap out. However, the man I am meant to represent. Oh, what's this? Brenda Bison now being interrupted by Akima Sake. Miss Bison, you speak of showing your superiority. I have come to this country for opportunity. I have issued a challenge twice in order to receive such an opportunity. An opportunity to compete for the Women's Championship. An opportunity to make my family proud. An opportunity to fight for honor inside my home country of Japan. Yet here you stand, speaking of proving your superiority. Miss Bison, I respect you because of your win against Amanda Price. A decorated wrestler trained by an Olympic gold medalist. But now I see you are little more than a coward with no honor. Excuse me, what did you just say to me? I said, you are a coward. If you truly live by your words, you would meet me in Japan. You would allow me to fight for my opportunity as you fight to prove your superiority. Accept my challenge, Bison. Defend your title. You want to come into my ring and disgrace me in front of this crowd. You want to fight me so badly. You want me to defend this title. Yes, fight me, you coward. Well, Akira Masaki, I must say, with all this excitement, did he answer? It's still a no. Oh, and there's Brenda Bison attacking Kimasake. And here she is, just completely laying waste to her. It looks like Brenda Bison just had completely enough of her. She's just completely going all out on her, proving to her that she doesn't deserve this title match. What's that? What's that? You called me a coward! You called me a coward! You are the coward! You are the freaking coward here! You don't deserve a title match against me! You don't deserve a title! And there's Akima Sake coming back at Brenda Bison! Brenda Bison getting a little too confident with her. And now Akima Sake with a DDT right on the Brenda Bison. Here she is, getting to the top rope here. With a front splash right on the Bison. Completely coming back at the women's champion right now. Brenda Bison got a little too caught up in that trash talking. And there goes Kimasaki carrying off the ropes. Knocking Brenda Bison out of the ring. But Kima's not done. Here she is going to the top rope. Front splash right out of the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, what started off as an exchange between words between a potential challenger and a champion has now turned to an all-out brawl right now. And now here they are. They're making their way into the audience. The two start fighting their way through the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, what an exchange that was. Brenda Bison, not only for the third time in a row, refusing Akima Saki's challenge, but end up throwing her, but end up throwing the first punch, instigating an all-out brawl. And she had the advantage. At first, she had Akima Saki literally against the ropes, but she took too long, picked up the microphone to talk trash against Akima Saki. And Akima Saki coming back, giving Brenda Bison the receipt. But I have to wonder, is what Akima Saki is saying true? Is she scared of Brenda Bison? Is Brenda Bison scared of Akima Saki? Is that why she's refusing to give her a title match? Only time will tell. Will Brenda Bison eventually give in and give Akima Saki her women's title match at the Tokyo Dome in Japan at the next PLE event, the Rising Sun? We'll find out in the upcoming weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have an impressive match card. We're going to have, for our main event, The Witch and Amanda Price in tag team match against Rebecca Troy and a mystery opponent, a rumored new member of the Old Gods here tonight. We'll be back after a quick 2-minute break. Charles, just the man I want to see. There seems to be a mistake in tonight's card. I'm supposed to team up with Chosen against the Outlaws tonight? Charles, just the man I want to see. There seems to be a mistake in tonight's card. I'm supposed to team up with Chosen against the Outlaws tonight? There's no mistake. Chosen personally requested this match. Anyway, your match is next. Good luck, Ben. You must be kidding me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And we're about to get into some tag team action. It seems that we have Chosen, who has handpicked longtime rival Benjamin Bourne against the Outlaws. Now, for those who don't know the history, Benjamin Bourne has spent the better of the last few months trying to challenge Chosen for the Intercontinental title, and finally has at Summer Bash. However, was not able to pick up the win. And Benjamin Bourne now back at square one as Chosen retains the Intercontinental Championship. On last week on Brawl, when Benjamin Bourne had won his singles matchup, it was Chosen who came out to the stage and gave Benjamin Bourne his flowers. And to Benjamin Bourne's surprise, Chosen has requested him to be his tag team partner tonight against the Outlaws. But who will come out on top? Will it be Billy Cactus and Justin Hicks of the Outlaws, or will it be the Intercontinental Champion Chosen and rival / tonight's tag team partner, Natural Bad Born Benjamin Bourne? Coming up right here on Brawl. And it looks like there's a bit of an argument between Chosen and Benjamin Bourne there about who's going to start the matchup. Chosen insisting that he starts as the legal man, completely undermining Benjamin Bourne in his tag team match. However, now here he is, giving Benjamin Bourne an opportunity to show Chosen what he's got, as he's now the legal man against Billy Cactus in his tag team match. And here comes Billy Cactus, gaining the advantage onto Benjamin Bourne here in this matchup. And here comes Justin Hicks, now the legal man, getting the pin onto Benjamin Bourne. He's going for a second pin. Now using his feet as leverage. However, Benjamin Bourne still able to power out of it. There comes Billy Cactus in the corner, and Chosen with incredible teamwork with Benjamin Bourne. Justin Hicks flying to his partner, Billy Cactus, looking to tag out of there. The Outlaws, last week on Dystopia, were in a #1 contender match against the Dudley Boys, where they suffered a loss in the hands of their double team signature move, the 3D, and it looks like the Outlaws looking to take out their frustration out on Benjamin Bourne right now. Justin Hicks now working on the leg of natural bad boy Benjamin Bourne. The Irish Woods Benjamin into the ropes, and now working on the arm, putting him in an armbar maneuver. Benjamin Bourne getting out of it with those shots to the ribs, using that famous striking style of his, and a big boot to the face. Here comes Bourne, tagging in Chosen in tonight's tag team match. Here comes Chosen with a face plant right into the ring, showing Justin Hicks his acrobatic style. However, Justin Hicks able to dodge that high-risk maneuver, tagging in Billy Cactus. And here comes Chosen with, again, using his acrobatic style, but Billy Cactus seeing it coming. And here is Billy Cactus showing off to the crowd, not very appreciative, one half of the Outlaws, and there's Chosen with the receipt. Billy Cactus fighting back, and here's Chosen getting a maneuver onto the Outlaw here. Here he is, playing to the crowd, measuring his opponent up. Chosen, a fan favorite back in JPW, Japan Pro Wrestling. Now the Intercontinental Champion here at Grand Tour Wrestling. And here comes Cactus, struggling to get on the ropes, and there's Benjamin Bourne with a neckbreaker over the top rope. And here comes Chosen, fighting Billy Cactus outside the ring now. There he is, twisting the ankle of Billy Cactus. And Billy Cactus now being thrown into the ring. Chosen now on the second rope, amping up the audience right here in this sold-out arena. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, but Billy Cactus kicks out. I see we got Bowling God 74 in the live stream chat going, yeet! Welcome to the show, Bowling God. Here comes Justin Hicks with a huge clothesline on Benjamin Bourne. There he is, just laying in those fists, laying in the punishment. Seem to be in a massive amount of trouble right now as Justin Hicks gets to the top rope with a big splash. Benjamin Bourne being the victim of a double hip toss by the Outlaws' teamwork right there. And here comes Billy Cactus with a huge rollback splash onto Benjamin Bourne. Here comes the cover. This could be the end of... No, I was wrong. I was about to say this could be the end of Bad Boy Benjamin Bourne, but it seems Chosen was able to break up the count. However, Billy Cactus getting him out of the way, tossing Chosen into the corner, knocking the breath out of him. And here comes Billy Cactus going for his finisher move, Cowboy from Hell. And here comes the cover. 1, 2, but no, Benjamin Bourne gets the kick out. And here comes Bourne with a bulldog off the second rope, planting Cactus's face right into the ring canvas. And there's Benjamin Bourne with a swanton. Will this be enough to put him away? 1, 2, but no, Billy Cactus gets the shoulder up.
There's the tag.
Here comes Chosen, being tagged in as the legal partner here in his tag team matchup. Working on the arm of Billy Cactus. Chosen coming off the ropes. Here comes the cover, but no, Justin Hicks breaks up the count. Here comes Chosen, now lining up Billy Cactus. Once again the cover. 1, 2, but Billy Cactus gets the shoulder up. Chosen now has Cactus right in the corner. The Cactus throwing elbow to fight his way out. A huge slam by one half of the Outlaws, taking down the Intercontinental Champion. Chosen reversing the Irish whip into the corner with a big chop to the bare chest of Billy Cactus. Here comes Chosen with a spinning DDT off the corner. Billy Cactus seems to be in a lot of trouble now. Chosen off the top rope with a flying drop kick. He tags in Benjamin Bourne. Here comes the natural bad boy, getting to the second rope with a hammer, driving his full body weight right into Billy Cactus. 1, 2, 3, and Benjamin Bourne and Chosen get the win over the Outlaws in tonight's tag team match. Despite these two not being on the same page, Chosen at first showing his hubris against Benjamin Bourne, and before the match starting, arguing to see who is going to start as the legal man. But at the end of the day, despite their differences, these two rivals were able to pick up the victory against the two Cowboys. We also got more to come. We got a singles match coming up next, as we have Nathan O'Gray versus Barry Jenkins. Those two were a bit of an odd couple, teaming up in a tag team match on Dystopia last week, facing a severe loss against the Headbangers. And it's, from what I understand, all over social media, Nathan O'Gray and Barry Jenkins have been all over.
Chosen and bad boy, Benjamin Ford.
Have been all over, just going at each other's throats, and those two will be settling their differences coming up on Brawl. But right now, these two rivals, the former challenger Benjamin Bourne and the Intercontinental Champion Chosen, celebrating their tag team win right here on Wednesday Night Brawl. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after a quick 2-minute break. Mr. Elliot, just the man I want to see. Yes, I want to speak with you too, Hercules. What is this talk you had on Dystopia about a hostile takeover? I think all your answers will be answered when you look at this photo that I'm handing you right now. Let me see that. What the hell? How did you... You see what's on this photograph? I will have my demands on Dystopia. Enjoy your night, Mr. Elliot. Oh, and I would not recommend calling the police. Hercules, I swear to God, if you harm, I will... Swear to God? Mr. Elliot, I am God. I will see you on Dystopia. Have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and what a disturbing display that just happened moments ago. I don't know what was on that photograph that Hercules handed Charles Elliot, but it seemed Charles Elliot was deeply disturbed. On Dystopia, Hercules had this talk in the middle of the ring about how the old gods are going to take over GTW. And now here he is showing Charles Elliot something incredibly disturbing on a photograph that has him shooken up, and says he'll meet with him on Dystopia this Saturday to give him his demands, whatever that means. I don't know what's going on here or what Hercules has planned, but it cannot be good. But coming up next, we have a singles match between Nathan O'Gray and Barry Jenkins. These two teamed up on Dystopia last week, suffering a humiliating loss against the Headbangers in a tag team match. The two going into this already being complete opposites in an odd couple. And ever since then, these two have been arguing backstage, going back and forth on social media. Nathan O'Gray blaming Barry Jenkins for his flashy style. Barry Jenkins calling Nathan O'Gray way too serious. And neither one of them taking responsibility for their tag team loss. The two will be settling their differences in a singles competition right here on Brawl.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 275 pounds, Nathaniel Gray!
Nathan O'Gray from Houston, Texas has a huge background in backyard wrestling from when he was younger, eventually getting into professional wrestling, being in the hardcore circuit when in his indie years. Now signing up to the big leagues here at Grand Tour Wrestling. Nathan O'Gray, a former hardcore champion, taking his matches completely seriously. He's known for his rough, hardcore style. However, there will be no weapons in this matchup, as this will be disqualification. He will have to win by pure skill against the flashy Barry Jenkins here tonight. And the crowd going absolutely nuts for this hardcore legend.
And his opponent from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 212 pounds, Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, the complete opposite of Nathan O'Gray. His philosophy is sugar and spice and make it all nice. His flashy style completely clashed with Nathan O'Gray's hardcore style when they teamed up. Neither one taking accountability for their loss against the Headbangers on Dystopia. Quoting their messages that they tweeted each other on social media. Nathan O'Gray saying, "We only lost because you can't take anything seriously. All you think about is joking around, goofing around, and acting like a complete buffoon in the ring," where Barry Jenkins says, "Well, maybe we would have won if you loosened up a little. Maybe you should get the stick right out of your ass." So here we go, the two squaring off to settle their differences in this one-on-one matchup. Nathan O'Gray starting off strong, showing Barry Jenkins exactly what he means by him not taking his in-ring matches seriously enough. Nathan O'Gray not wasting any time, sizing up his opponent. And he is continuing to lay the punishment on Barry Jenkins when Barry Jenkins rolls out of the way, saying, "Oh, no you don't. You're not going to get me that easily. I'll show you that you're no match for sugar and spice." Nathan O'Gray now bringing Jenkins into the corner. The referee trying to break up the lock, and there's Jenkins with a cheap shot and a warning from the referee. They are locking on once more. Barry Jenkins throwing Gray back and follows up with an elbow to the face. And there's a knuckle shuffle, driving his fist right down, using all that dead weight and letting gravity do the rest to damage his opponent. There he is aiming at the crowd. This packed out, sold out arena. Screaming their heads off. The fans right on their feet, right off their seats, as these two fan favorites get into this technical wrestling match. Impressive chain wrestling by these two men right now. Nathan O'Gray stuck in that armbar, and there's Jenkins dragging him out to the ring, putting him into a headlock. And there's Jenkins applying even more pressure onto Nathan O'Gray. And you see Gray struggling really hard right now. And there's Jenkins finishing off the maneuver, driving his knee to the back of Nathan O'Gray's spine. And there goes Barry Jenkins off the top rope with a frog splash. Nathan O'Gray seems to be in a lot of trouble right now as Barry Jenkins starts twisting Gray's leg. It's funny because over the social media, the back and forth, Nathan O'Gray said something about, "I'm tired of you always pulling my leg and pulling everyone's leg in GTW." And here's Barry Jenkins literally pulling his leg. We got a little dance from Sugar and Spice in the middle of the ring. Barry Jenkins entertaining the crowd, maybe focusing a little too much on the entertaining the crowd and not enough on his opponent. Nathan O'Gray knocked outside the ring. I think Barry Jenkins might be looking for a count out here. Nathan O'Gray getting a breather, taking his time right now. Now rolling back in the ring. These two once again going one-on-one. Jenkins with an Irish whip to the ropes. And an arm drag taking him down. There comes the ref going for the count. One. But no, Nathan O'Gray kicks out. Here comes Jenkins coming off the ropes with a big knee, knocking down Nathan O'Gray. But Gray kicks out. And what a seismic toss by Nathan O'Gray, followed by, well, I thought it was going to be a moonsault, but it looks like instead he used the momentum off the second rope to just thrust the back of his body right into him. Nathan O'Gray get behind him with a German suplex. Jenkins now stomping on Nathaniel Gray, picking apart his opponent. And here comes Jenkins getting to the top rope with a flashy high-flying elbow drop. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, but no, Gray kicks out, gets the shoulder up at the last second. And here comes Gray with a counter, but it's not enough. Barry Jenkins keeping the pressure on the Nathaniel Gray. There he is, trash on saying, who's taking this match seriously now? Am I serious enough for you now? Nathaniel Gray getting a little pissed off here. Looking to take his aggression out on Jenkins. Going a little more all out on him. Taking Jenkins to life. Now really taking this match seriously. He comes off the ropes in a small time. Jenkins rolling out of the ring. Rolling out of the way at the very last moment. And a spine buster by Barry Jenkins. Here comes Jenkins, getting to the top rope. Here he is, lining up Nathaniel Gray. And here he comes down with the hammer onto his opponent. Here comes the pin. 1, but no, Gray kicks out on 1. He kicks out even quicker than he did the last time Jenkins got the cover on his opponent. Here goes Jenkins, coming off the ropes with a knee onto Nathaniel Gray. And there's Jenkins just punishing the leg. The two men locking up. Here's Gray having Nathaniel Gray. Jenkins having Nathaniel Gray against the ropes. And what's he doing? He's choking him across the top rope there. A bit of an illegal maneuver, but it seemed he let go within the allotted time frame, and he clotheslines Gray right out of the ring. Gray looks like he's in a lot of trouble right now. Jenkins rolling out of the ring. Here comes Gray. Getting Gray, here goes Gray in a submission maneuver, but he manages to roll himself out of it. He goes for a possible pin, but Jenkins counters. Jenkins on the second rope, lining up Nathaniel Gray. Another hammer. He barely faces him though. Gray looks laying his adrenaline. Do the fighting for him, rolling him into a pin, but Jenkins manages to kick out of the possum pin. And here comes Jenkins laying in the elbows on Nathaniel Gray. Here's with the kick to the sternum. Here he is setting him up for a powerbomb. You can feel the impact, the echoes vibrating all over the arena here tonight. And then we got more coming up tonight. We still got our main event as the two superstars in the women's division, Amanda Price and the Witch. Oh, and there's the win. There's the win from Barry Jenkins. Ending this debate between him and Nathaniel Gray. And here comes Jenkins being a good sport, holding out his hands. And Nathaniel Gray just not having it. Just completely slapping Jenkins' hand out of the way. Jenkins trying to show good sportsmanship, trying to be a solid winner here. And Nathaniel Gray, I guess, embarrassed, losing to what he perceives to be a clown, wants no part of Barry Jenkins' sportsmanship. As I was saying earlier, we still got more to come later on. We got our main event tonight. Amanda Price and the Wish, the two superstars of the women's division, will be taking on Rebecca Troy and the debut of the newest member of the Old Gods. That'll be coming up tonight for our main event on Brawl. Also, coming up, we have another singles match for the women's division. One half of the women's tag team champions, Kumiko EMP Tanaka, will be going one-on-one with Fuego Lopez. And that's coming up right here. The EMP of Japan, Kimiko Tanaka, taking on the high flyer from Mexico, Fuego Lopez, right here on Brawl.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from Kyoto, Japan, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Impress.
There you go. Kumiko EMP Tanaka, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, making her way to the ring in this one-on-one singles match against Fuego Lopez, a superstar luchador from Mexico who's made a name of herself as of late here in GTW.
And her opponent from Tala, Jalisco, Mexico,
Lopez quickly climbing the ranks in the women's division, instantly becoming a fan favorite here at Grand Tour Wrestling. She had recently competed in the swimsuit battle royal match at Summer Bash 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, she was eliminated and was not able to win the United States title, but will get a chance to once again prove herself in front of all her fans as she faces one half of the women's tag team champions. Both women top tier wrestlers from their respective countries right here at Grand Tour Wrestling Wednesday Night Brawl. And Lopez with an incredible balancing act on the ropes to counter EMP Tanaka. And just like that, Fuego Lopez gained the advantage on one half of the women's tag team champion. And here's Lopez getting Tanaka against the ropes. And there's the referee breaking up the counts. Lopez getting in the kick once separated. And the two women now locking up in the corner of the ring. Lopez getting the headlock in. You see Tanaka struggling here as she's trying to fight her way out of this maneuver. Lopez got the headlock in pretty tight and follows up, bringing her down to the ring. Amazing chain wrestling by Lopez. But Tanaka coming with a counter, squeezing Lopez's head between her thighs right there. And here comes Tanaka, sizing her up on the ring apron. And there's EMP coming in with a kick on this amazing luchador. Tanaka coming in with another knee. Those hard strikes, trying to knock out Lopez. And here comes Tanaka coming off the ropes, using her impressive agility to combat the luchador from Mexico. And there goes Tanaka with a high-flying move, but misses. And Lopez immediately capitalizing with a moonsault all the way from across the ring. Amazing high-flying ability from Fuego Lopez. The two women, once again, locking up in the middle of the ring. Lopez throwing Tanaka back. She has Tanaka against the corner. Lopez right across the ring with a huge splash. And here she comes, right off the corner, spinning around to the world DDT. Here she is, sizing up her opponent. Tanaka being Irish whipped over the top rope. And Lopez just stuttering her right across the top rope, choking her. And there's Lopez attempting a high-flying maneuver outside the ring. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. That's why they call them high-flying maneuvers, because sometimes they just don't work out, as we just witnessed as Tanaka attempting the same thing on Lopez. Both women, amazing high-flying athletes. Experienced enough to know when the attack's coming, constantly countering each other. And here comes Lopez knocking Tanaka right here outside the ring. And Tanaka rolling Lopez back inside to avoid the ring count. Lopez being Irish whipped to the corner. And here she comes with an elbow to the face, giving Tanaka a receipt. She now has Tanaka against the ropes. And what's Lopez doing here? She's calling to the crowd. Springing up the ropes with a bulldog. What an amazing maneuver by Fuego Lopez as she gets to the top rope. Another high-flying risk. Unfortunately, it did not pay off as Tanaka managed to get out of the way. There's Kimiko Tanaka using her martial arts skills, introducing Lopez to her kicks. She just attempted a Superman punch. Fuego Lopez countering, using amazing agility to balance herself, twirling across those ropes to get that high-flying maneuver in. Fuego Lopez going into this match completely hot, completely confident against one half of the women's tag team champions. And Lopez countering, springing up the ropes into an arm drag. Tanaka with a counter rope, springing up the ropes with a flying drop kick. And here comes Tanaka taking out Lopez. And here comes the count. 1, 2, but no, Fuego Lopez kicks out. Tanaka now gaining the advantage in this matchup, using her boxing maneuvers. The martial arts training coming into play from Kimiko EMP Tanaka. One half of the women's champion gaining the advantage in this singles matchup against Lopez. Lopez now fighting back again while she's on the apron. She jumps up with a Hurricanrana. There she is, sizing up her opponent. Fuego Lopez coming up. Bulldog. Tanaka seems to be in a lot of trouble right now as Lopez gains the advantage. She has her against the corner. Amazing high-flying match by these two women. And here comes Lopez. Another bulldog, face first into the ring canvas. The ref going for the count. 1, 2, but no. Kimiko Tanaka able to get the shoulder up. What an amazing match this is turning out to be, folks. Lopez with amazing athletic maneuver. And And she gets the 3. Kimiko Tanaka suffering this loss in the singles matchup. And what's this? That's Asuka. Asuka from WWE, who showed up last week on Dystopia with Io Sky, now staring off against one half of the women's champion. Asuka once again making it known to Kimiko Tanaka. Last week on Dystopia, after Kimiko Tanaka's tag team match, Asuka and Io Sky came on out, eyeing the tag team champions. And you can see the two having a little discussion in the middle of the ring. We can only see how this is going to play out in weeks to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we still got coming up our main event. The Witch and Amanda Price taking on Rebecca Troy and a new member of the New Gods making her debut. But first, we'll be back after a quick break. Please help me. I will book you to face Hercules on Dystopia. Any match you want. Cage, hardcore, I don't care what match you want. I'll make it any match you want. I need Hercules taken out of the equation. I need the old gods handled. I will give you whatever you want. Just make sure Hercules does not walk out of that ring. My. Amazing how suddenly you turn towards a monster to deal with a monster. It's funny how desperation will make a man go where he will never go. He has my son, Moxley. Name your price, and it's yours. Hey. Don't worry. Do not worry about a thing. I will handle your false god. And in return, I want a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. You give me Dio at Rising Sun, and I will make all your problems go away. John Moxley, you got a deal. I thought so. I suggest we keep this between us for your son's sake. We won't want his career to end when it's just barely gotten started. I will see you and Hercules in Dystopia's opening match. A steel cage. And here comes the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Moscow, Russia, weighing in at 243 pounds, the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong.
On Dystopia, Brenda Bison had given Andre Armstrong the lecture of his life about how he was so easily defeated by Steven Dynamite at the main event of Summer Bash, trying to prove himself to the Red Faction, Brenda Bison, and his home country of Russia. He had accepted Dio Sebastian's open challenge at the main event of Dystopia, and once again had lost rather easily to the World Heavyweight Champion. Here comes Andre Armstrong making his way to the ring. Brenda Bison earlier tonight came out to talk about her grievances against this man she's supposedly supposed to represent. And I see Andre Armstrong is out here once again trying to prove himself to the people of his homeland. And this just in, after seeing the footage from the backstage area, The opening match for Dystopia this Saturday will be a steel cage Jon Moxley versus Hercules. Dino, get your ass out here. I want a rematch. I have my ring gear. Come out here and face me. Andre Armstrong calling out Dio Sebastian for a rematch. Wait, that's not Dio Sebastian. That's... No way. There's no way. It couldn't be.
And his opponent from Kyoto, Japan, weighing in at 220 pounds, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura, another wrestler who started off his career in Japan. Famous for being in the WWE, coming out here, taking Dio Sebastian's place in Andre Armstrong's challenge. A huge fan favorite from Japan and WWE. You can hear the crowd singing his song right now. Shinsuke Nakamura, a very dangerous man. About to come out here and challenge the Russian Gladiator himself. What a surprise seeing this WWE superstar right here in GTW. You can hear the excitement in the crowd tonight. I haven't heard the crowd sing a song like this since the last time I commentated on a Raw match with Seth Rollins. Andre Armstrong seemingly accepting this challenge by Shinsuke Nakamura. Andre starting off strong with a power clothesline on Nakamura here. He has a lot to prove after suffering a major loss at the main event of Summer Bash against Steven Dynamite, losing his Grand Tour title opportunity, not gaining a single point in a best 2 out of 3 falls match, and once again completely humiliated after accepting Dio Sebastian's open challenge last week on Dystopia. Andre Armstrong coming out here demanding a rematch with Dio Sebastian. Unfortunately, he did not get the World Heavyweight title tonight, but has actually gotten WWE superstar Shinsuke Nakamura. However, Armstrong seeming to fare much better against Nakamura than he did against Dio. However, I think I might have spoke too soon, as Nakamura now gets the advantage over Andre Armstrong. Here comes Nakamura, getting the lock from behind the Russian Gladiator. Andre Armstrong countering, now getting behind Nakamura. Ladies and gentlemen, after this matchup, we'll be heading into our main event where The Witch and Amanda Price, the two top women's superstars here in GTW, will be taking on Rebecca Troy and the debut of the newest member of the Old Gods. Her identity still remains to be a secret, but that will be coming up after this matchup. Nakamura now having Andre Armstrong in a headlock. Andre Armstrong about to counter, but Nakamura quickly switches to an armbar, keeping the pressure on the Russian Gladiator. There comes Armstrong, now fighting back, getting the strikes in. Here he is, measuring up his opponent, taunting him, which may not be a good idea. And here he comes with a powerful clothesline. Nakamura rolling out of the ring to gain a little distance. However, Armstrong keeping the pressure on once Nakamura rolls back in. And once again, just a reminder, folks, we just learned we're watching backstage Charles Elliot coming to Jon Moxley, of all people, for help to take care of Hercules. We've learned that Hercules has kidnapped Charles Elliott's son, who was on his way to make his GTW debut very soon. It seems his debut is not happening, as he is now being held hostage by the old gods. Hercules says he'll wait Charles Elliot for to give him his demands on Dystopia. And now Charles Elliot has gone to Jon Moxley, of all people, for help. In exchange for a shot at the World Heavyweight title against Dio Sebastian, Jon Moxley has agreed to face Hercules one-on-one in a steel cage match for Dystopia's opening match. You heard it right here, folks. The opening match for Dystopia this Saturday will be a steel cage match between Jon Moxley and Hercules. What an incredible match that's going to be. But this is coming to mind that Jon Moxley is not in this cage match to win, but to, and I quote, take Hercules out of the equation. This here is going to be personal. Now coming back into the singles match, Andre Armstrong gaining the advantage over Shinsuke Nakamura, making a surprise appearance. This is the third WWE superstar that we've seen appear in the last two events. Io Sky and Asuka showing up on Dystopia to basically make themselves known to the women's tag team champions. And now we have Shinsuke Nakamura coming out to accept the open challenge from Andre Armstrong, despite that was meant for Dio Sebastian. And here's Nakamura taking off the turnbuckle padding. Not a very legal maneuver, and here's the referee knocked out. The referee is down, folks. We have an exposed turnbuckle, and the referee is out. A reminder, anyone who has seen Nakamura on WWE SmackDown knows he's not there to play nice. He is known for fighting dirty, known for inflicting pain on his opponents. Anything can happen right now. We have an exposed turnbuckle. We have a knocked out referee. Nakamura just laying in the punishment on Andre Armstrong right now. However, that might have just bit him in the ass as he went for the pin, but there was no referee to go for the count. By the time the referee stirred, Andre Armstrong had already kicked out. The referee, realizing what damage has been done to the ring, thank goodness, the referee doing his job, putting the padding back onto the turnbuckle. However, it might be a little too late as Nakamura continues to punish the Russian Gladiator here. Here comes Shinsuke Nakamura, lining up Andre Armstrong. Andre Armstrong counters though, and what a counter that was. Andre Armstrong now back in this matchup as he puts Nakamura in a sleeper hold. Will this be it? Will Nakamura tap out? No. Nakamura laying the elbows, getting a counter in, pinning Andre Armstrong. But Andre Armstrong manages to kick out. Nakamura now seeming to be in trouble. The tables have turned as Russian Gladiator gains the upper hand in this one-on-one matchup. He's now meeting Nakamura onto the ring apron. And oh my gosh! Slamming his spine right into the metal rim of the ring right there, the metal frame holding the ring up. And here's Armstrong, looking for an honorable win. Rolling Nakamura back to the ring. Armstrong using his brutal Russian style against Shinsuke Nakamura. Damaging the arm of his opponent. Andre Armstrong now climbing to the top rope. What a big elbow drop. You can see the anger behind Armstrong, the frustration behind Armstrong, how he's tired of the humiliation, tired of being looked at as a joke by his peers. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, no! Nakamura kicks out. Here comes Nakamura. Going for a kick. Countering Armstrong's strike. But Armstrong coming back. You can see the bruises on these men. These two giving it everything they have right here tonight. Here comes Armstrong, pulling him into a clothesline. You can see Russian Glider means business. He climbs to the top rope. Frog splash. Nakamura now kicking Armstrong off. Going for a frog splash himself. Armstrong sees it coming. Nakamura Irish whipping Armstrong. Under. And a super kick right to the face. 1, 2. But no, Armstrong gets the shoulder up. Here goes Nakamura, now sizing up his opponent. And there's a German suplex by Shinsuke Nakamura. Armstrong is down. He's trapped in the corner. He's weak. He's tired. He's looking very vulnerable right now against his opponent. You can see that sick, sadistic look in Nakamura's eyes as he looks to torture Armstrong even further. Nakamura to the top rope with a big elbow drop onto Andre Armstrong. He goes for the cover. 1, 2. No! Armstrong gets the shoulder up, and Nakamura looking frustrated here, wondering what's going to take to put his opponent away. Nakamura, once again, for the win. 1, 2, but no, again, Armstrong kicks out. Amazing. Here comes Shinsuke Nakamura, sizing him up with a knee to the head. 1, 2, but again, Armstrong kicks out. Nakamura, once again, to the top rope. Another elbow drop, but this time Armstrong sees it coming. He counters with a leg drop. Here comes Armstrong, setting him up. Here comes a powerbomb, rolling into a pin. 1, 2, no, Nakamura kicks out. It's just kick out after kick out with these two. Armstrong not giving up. He's looking confident. He's still in this matchup. He gets to the second rope. A hammer right into the back of Nakamura. Armstrong throwing an elbow right into the mid-thigh of Nakamura. Armstrong slowly bringing Nakamura up to his knees. Nakamura sees the attack coming. Armstrong sees Nakamura's counter. And another powerbomb by Armstrong for the win. 1, 2, 3, and Armstrong gets the win against Shinsuke Nakamura. Armstrong has finally broke his losing streak. After suffering 2 humiliating losses throughout these last 2 weeks, Andre Armstrong finally gains some momentum and winning a bit of respect as he manages to defeat one of the most dangerous men from the WWE. Andre Armstrong, now victorious right here on Brawl. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we have our main event. Last week on Dystopia, Rebecca Troy had proclaimed that tonight on Brawl, a new female wrestler will be making her Grand Tour Wrestling debut. A new member of the Old Gods faction that consists of Rebecca Troy herself, Archangel, and their leader, the mighty Hercules. And tonight, a fourth member will be added to their ranks. In tonight's main event, as the two will challenge the two top superstars in the women's division, The Witch and former women's champion, Amanda Price. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our main event.
The following is a tag team match set for one fall. Introducing first, from Allentown, Pennsylvania, Amanda Price.
Amanda Price, the former women's champion, had lost against Brenda Bison in a submission match. However, had a moment of redemption last week on Brawl when she defeated Rebecca Troy by a knockout, applying a sleeper hold on the Empress herself. And here she is, a fan favorite here in GTW, one of the best women wrestlers in the ranks of Grand Tour Wrestling. Making her way one half of tonight's tag team main event.
And her partner, representing the Fallen, from Salem, Massachusetts, The Witch.
And here comes the Witch, being accompanied to the ring by her older brother, the World Heavyweight Champion, Dio Sebastian. The Witch basing her gimmick off of the superhero created by Infinite Fantasy, the White Witch. And speaking of the White Witch, coming out soon, currently in production, will be the first episode of the White Witch audio series, which will be making its live stream debut on Twitch, followed up by YouTube. The White Witch is a magical superhero from Salem, using a magical amulet that grants her powers, protecting the mortal realm against the creatures that bump in the night. The announcement date will be coming up soon on when the first episode will be live streaming on Twitch. The two women now waiting for their opponents. If we can hear Hercules' music, Rebecca Troy being accompanied by the Old Gods here, Hercules leading the charge with Archangel by his side. Rebecca Troy, who will be competing in tonight's match, on his other. We have yet to see this new member of their faction. And here's the Old Gods claiming their victory for tonight. Rebecca Troy, one half of this tag team match, representing their faction. Despite the fact it seems Hercules taking center stage right now
and
on his entrance.
The Old Gods from Newark, New Jersey, the Olympian Rebecca Troy.
It was on Brawl where Hercules had defeated Steven Dynamite, putting him in the hospital. However, this has also earned Hercules a title match against Steven Dynamite for the Grand Tour title at the main event of the Rising Sun, which will be live streamed straight from the Tokyo Dome in Japan. The following show on Dystopia, Hercules came out declaring that he foresees a future where he holds the Grand Tour title, where every member of the Old Gods will have a championship belt, where Rebecca Troy will hold the gold, where Archangel will hold the gold. And yes, maybe even this new fourth member who has yet to make her entrance may also hold a championship belt herself. He has also proclaimed that the Old Gods will soon be running GTW, and we were all wondering for all week what he meant by that, about him taking over Grand Tour Wrestling. And we found out earlier that the Old Gods actually have director Charles Elliot, the director of GTW. They have his son hostage. His son was just a week away from making his in-ring debut here at Grand Tour Wrestling, but now being held hostage by the Old Gods. Hercules told director Charles Elliot that he'll wait for him at Dystopia to give him his demands for his safe return. You can tell there's a grand scheme coming from the former World Heavyweight Champion right now. Charles Elliot, just moments ago, backstage, making a deal with Jon Moxley himself to take out Hercules, to take him out of the equation for the sake of his son. So Dystopia coming up this Saturday, the opening match will be a steel cage between Hercules and Jon Moxley. The Old Gods now raising their salutes. Rebecca Troy looking up to her leader as she prepares for tonight's tag team match against the Witch and Amanda Price. Hercules not seeming to be threatened by this cage match that has just been booked. And here comes the debut, the newest member of the Old Gods. Rebecca Troy's tag team partner here tonight.
And from Brisbane, Australia, Amber, the Warrior Princess, Charlotte.
Coming straight from Australia, Amber Charlotte, the newest member of the Old Gods. And I'm taking just one look at her, and I can already tell this woman is straight up a warrior. Look at her. She looks focused, ready to go. Ready to take on the Witch and Amanda Price. She looks like she's ready to fight them all by herself. I can now see why Rebecca Troy looks so confident in her interview on Dystopia. Look at her. She looks like an Amazon. She looks like she's ready for war. I dare say, Amber Charlotte looks absolutely dangerous. Amber Charlotte, I'm sure, coming straight from the indie scene, making her debut here in Grand Tour Wrestling right here on Brawl's main event. Not only making her debut in Grand Tour Wrestling, but making her debut as the newest member of the Old Gods. And I can see why Hercules chose her. Look at the focus in those eyes. She looks like she's out for blood. And it looks like we're starting off with Rebecca Troy and Amanda Price as the two legal women in tonight's main event tag team match. Rebecca Troy starting off with a body slam. She has a big score to settle with both these women. Amanda Price suffering a loss from both of them via knockout. The Witch winning against Rebecca Troy in a last woman standing match at Summer Bash 2 weeks ago. And Amanda Price winning against Rebecca Troy, knocking her out with a sleeper hold last week on Brawl. And look at Hercules dragging Amanda Price right out of the ring while Rebecca Troy takes out the Witch. What the hell was that? Hercules dragged Amanda Price out of the ring. The Old Gods seem to have roughed her up a little bit outside the ring. While the referee's distracted, the Witch getting knocked out by Rebecca Troy. And now right here we have Amber Charlotte's debut in the ring as she's going one-on-one against Amanda Price. Here's Amanda Price using her technical skills against this powerhouse here. And there's Amber Charlotte coming in with a super powerful clothesline. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still blown away by the tactics the Old Gods just used on Amanda Price there. And there's Archangel throwing a kendo stick in the middle of the ring. The referee now distracted, trying to get that weapon out. Amanda Price now doing the smart thing, tagging in her partner, the Witch, who's now going one-on-one with Rebecca Troy right now. And here's the Witch using her high-flying abilities, connecting with the Hurricanrana to take out Rebecca Troy. We can already see that the Old Gods are not against using their dirty tactics against these two women. Thank God the Witch has brought her big brother Dio Sebastian into the corner. Hopefully he'll be able to even out the playing field if things go too far with the outside interference. Here comes the Witch, Irish whipping Rebecca Troy into the corner. The Witch now tagging in Amanda Price, and here comes some double team action by these two women. The Witch launching Amanda Price off the top rope to take out Rebecca Troy. 1, 2, but Rebecca Troy kicks out. Here comes Troy with an Irish whip and a knee into Rebecca Troy's gut. Rebecca Troy now rolling outside the ring to gain some distance. Amanda Price coming after her with an elbow drop on the top rope right out of the ring. That's got to be at least 10 feet in the air right there. The stipulation to tonight's main event is there will be no count out. The fight can be taken as long as they want outside of the ring. However, there is still disqualification. And here comes Troy with a fisherman suplex. Amanda landing hard on the outside of the ring there. Remember, it may look like they're throwing each other on that mat, but that mat is only so thick, and underneath is just layers of concrete. Amanda Price now knocked outside of the ring, and Rebecca Troy going after, who, may I remind you, is not the legal partner. The Old Gods using a lot of dirty tactics in tonight's matchup. And there's Amber Charlotte just using raw power to manhandle the former women's champion, followed by a frog splash off the second rope. Amanda Price managing to kick out, and Amber Charlotte was an impressive in-ring debut against the former women's champion as she's just completely manhandling Amanda Price. And what raw power by this new member of the Old Gods. Amber Charlotte just using that raw power with a powerful hammer, knocking Amanda Price down. Price in a lot of trouble as Amber Charlotte continues this onslaught. She makes her way to the second rope, throwing all of her body weight right on the former women's champion, but the Witch, thankfully, able to break up the count. Her big brother, Theo Sebastian, showing support by getting the crowd amped up, trying to get Amanda Price and the Witch's adrenaline up here. Amber Charlotte still completely manhandling Amanda Price there. What power. Amanda Price able to get the shoulder up. I don't know how though. It seems Amanda Price is seeing stars right now. There comes Amber Charlotte sizing her up. And you can hear that thud echoing all across the arena. Amber Charlotte now tagging in Rebecca Troy. Here comes Troy coming up to the top rope with a massive frog splash across the ring. And a sidewalk slam by the Empress herself. Troy now sizing up Amanda Price. And there goes the finisher. 1, 2, 3. And the Old Gods get the win in tonight's main event. Between the Old Gods interfering in that raw power from Amber Charlotte. It seems Amanda Price and the Witch just were not a match for the Old Gods here tonight. Rebecca Troy swore she was going to get even with these two women, and she definitely did. Amanda Price taking a lot of punishment in the hands of Amber Charlotte, who has proven to be not only a worthy tag team partner for Rebecca Troy, but a valuable member to Hercules' faction. And dare I say, proven that she herself may be on the level of a goddess herself. And you can see in these replays how Amber Charlotte just completely manhandles the former women's champion. You can hear the bone shattering, which each slam she took, Rebecca Troy finishing things off, getting the sidewalk slam on Amanda Price, then finishing her off with the Empress Call, her finisher maneuver. And gets the 1, 2, 3. And the Old Gods with a humiliating win over their opponents.
Rebecca Troy and Amber, the Warrior Princess.
the Olympian Empress Rebecca Troy and the Warrior Princess Amber Charlotte victorious. Rebecca Troy finally getting her revenge on the Witch and Amanda Price here tonight on Brawl. And I gotta say, what an impressive debut from Amber Charlotte. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Dystopia coming up Saturday, live streaming 7 p.m. at Infinite Fantasy /twitch.tv with the opening match, Jon Moxley versus Hercules in a steel cage match. And we also got Rob Van Dam, who will be defending the United States Championship against Adam Cole. All coming up this Saturday on Dystopia. And don't forget, if you miss a live stream, you can catch Brawl and Dystopia next week on YouTube. All live streams will now be posted on my YouTube page, Infinite Fantasy If, 1 week later. So if you miss the matches in these amazing events, don't forget that you can catch the reruns. Once again, that's Infinite Fantasy If on YouTube. Currently, Summer Bash and last week's Brawl have been posted. Tomorrow night, last week's Dystopia will also be posted on YouTube. We also got the White Witch audio series coming out soon. The announcement date will soon be announced. The story is finished. The illustrations are just now in production. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. This is Infinite Fantasy signing out saying good night. And as always, may your fantasies be infinite.